Beer Net Radio. Listen to on every continent except Antarctica. Beer Net Radio.
Freaking funny. But a soda pop is all he could think of as something to live for. Ice cold soda pop. But I mean, it is pretty good when you think about it on a hot day.
Yeah.
There's somebody looking in my car. No, don't do that. Don't look in my car.
They're probably incredulous.
There's a computer in there and a camera and a dog, but don't look in there.
You saw that our pod is canceled, right?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bruce canceled it. He rescheduled. So now we're on at 9 a.m. But I just remembered I can't really make 9. I mean, I can if I have to. If you guys can't both be on, then I will make it happen. But
Is it tomorrow at 9?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I can. I was flying out tomorrow to New York, but we
decided,
we changed our flights to Saturday. Well, then why don't we? I'd like to talk a little bit about. Well, we're going to have Bill Schaffelt on a podcast like next week, right?
Yep.
Well, let's talk about him then, since he's not on here today. The guy's brilliant, and let me give you my theory, and then you can give me your thoughts. But everybody's kind of scratching their head. Why KDP? Why Dr Pepper? I think it's brilliant because Bill wants it's the D round, but he still wants to leave his options open.
Mm-hmm.
There could be his valuation's high, but it could be higher, a lot higher, when he decides to pull the trigger and sell. And he's made no secret or bones about it. That's the intention. By going with KDP, it's brilliant because if he went with a big brewer like Molson Coors, Constellation, or AB, that would scare everybody else away. They're like, oh, well, they've taken a minority stake. They're going to end up buying it. Or if they went with private equity or anything, well, I'm going to scratch that actually, because there is private equity, I'm sure, in there.
Well, he says they talk to everybody, basically. He said in this, they talk to industry people, they talk to private equity and, family offices and everything.
Right. So with KDP, it's like, hey, we're getting some industry stroke, a respected industry players investing in us, but KDP is not big enough to scare off a Heineken or a Molson Coors down the road with a minority stake. Like Coke owning a minority stake in Monster scares everybody else away. I think that's probably why Constellation and Monster never materialized. They're like, what are we going to do with Coke? Anyway, going back to KDP. No distribution changes that he said. So really it's just another, like you said, Jen, a minority investor.
Round.
Yeah, just like the celebrities and everybody else who participated in that round. And it really, what's funny to me also is that the company doesn't make money. And, and that's very tech world-ish, not CPG-ish. And he's running it like a tech fund, and I think that's probably smart, because it's the value is going to come on the back end.
I mean, how long did it take Amazon to turn a profit? Like,
right,
a long time.
Right.
Of course, it's a very different company, but the question I have that you would know better than I, what exactly does KDP's network look like? Because you say they have some of their own, but I know they also have Coke and Pepsi as part of their system. So, like, what percentage is KDP and what's Coke and Pepsi and all that? Do you know?
I don't know off my head. The guy to ask would be Dwayne Stanford at Beverage Digest. I should just reach out to him anyway. I haven't talked to him in a while. But, you're right. They have a ragtag network. They do have their own dedicated bottlers in some markets. They're with beer distributors in other markets. They're with Coke and Pepsi. And so it is kind of a mishmash. So, it wouldn't make sense to switch over to a KDP because it'd be a lot worse than where they are now. Now, I think Columbia is a KDP, which is their largest distributor.
I think, but it's interesting too, because, Bill said that they had been talking to them for a long time. And, they made some changes this summer, in California to Reyes. So to me, anyway, I'm thinking like, obviously they probably had this in the back of their head. They probably had a little, did not think about that.
I mean, probably introductions were made. If Columbia knows the Dr Pepper folks, meetings matter. folks. Meeting people and building a relationship matters, which is why we're only 2 months away from the
From
beer
our
summit,
summit.
the place to get deals done. More deals have been started and
Yeah.
germinated at our summits than I think. Well, I don't. That's hard to quantify, but
Yeah.
I just know that a lot of deals have been done. I don't want to say that we're the best or whatever, but we
And
are.
how's the breakers? Is it still, well, Jordan said it's just a tropical storm at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, if the breakers hadn't been washed to the sea by now, I mean, how old's that building? 100 years old, maybe? I don't know. But Mr. Flagler stands tall. Mr. Flagler has an in with God, and the breakers is always protected, as does his acolyte, Mr. Ponce.
His acolyte.
To me, it seems like the big brewers have been pretty successful in just making their own non-alc brands and just bringing nurture back into the category with Heineken 0.0, Bud Zero, I think Peroni. And I mean, those are brands that are far, far bigger than Athletic.
You're right. I mean, that's their strategy now, right? But think of Kirin or Asahi, or any brewer that just has that hole in their portfolio. Now they're trying, will Peroni 0.0 be a big player in non-alc a year from now?
Right.
Maybe not. So if it's not, a year from now, that might be an expensive way to get into that market, but they are the leader and their margins are outrageously high, that's what's kind of surprising, that they're not making money, because they must be really spending money.
They do a lot of marketing. I guess the thing to me is, how much more are they going to grow in the next few years, later on down the road?
They better double sales.
Yeah.
At that valuation. And they can. I mean,
it's incremental, supposedly.
Yeah. I mean, if you grow 7% a year, you double your sales in 12 years, I think. I don't know. Never mind.
I can see it. I mean, they're just getting into more mainstream retail. Bill said like a third of their buying accounts, I think, every month are on premise now. I think they have a lot of distribution run room and on premise. But I mean, I'm pretty sure they're the third largest non-alc beer overall. I think it's Heineken 0.0, Bud Zero, and then them. So, right. But I mean, I make no bones about it. I am a athletic drinker, and I'm not, we're not biased on this show, but I am. And it's probably, even though I drink a lot of alcohol, it's probably the single most beer that I buy, the single most brand that I buy most frequently, because there aren't a lot of competitors in that space, right? With craft beer, I have thousands of things to choose from, and I want to try things. And there's a lot of great brewers. There's not a lot of great craft non-alc brewers, right?
And it's changing, but you're right. I mean, you're right on both counts. They're found in enough places that they can build a national brand. But they still have a lot of run room on ACV. And I think they can tell that story to investors for another at least 2 years, if not more. They can grow just by expanding. They don't even have to increase velocity, but I think they will. I mean, the way they're spending on marketing, I think velocity is pretty good.
Yeah. Well, Jordan always brings up the point of how expensive it is. And that is true. I agree with you there, Jordan. That is going to be a headwind for them, I think, because although non-alc, it's funny, like you take something away and you charge more for it, but I guess, it increases functionality. So I don't know how that's going to play out. We will see there.
I think the prices for non-alc beer are a little more easy to digest for consumers. It's the non-alc cocktails that are still trying to go for like $15 a 4-pack. I'm like, this is a 4-pack of juice.
I mean,
come on.
I mean, just go to the Welch's aisle,
right?
Pay $2 for a half gallon.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And, the way Athletic goes through the production process, they're actually like brewing beer and then taking alcohol out. So, it's a very complex process, but people that never introduce alcohol at all.
Right.
Like, well,
what are you paying for?
What was special?
Right.
Yeah. It is more expensive to de-alcoholize. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I learned that from the guy that was on the podcast a few months ago, who sells non-alcoholic cocktails in a can, Jordan, at a really high price. So I'll be sure and let him know. Actually, he probably listens. He's a devoted customer of ours. No, I
of our
think you're
millions.
exactly right. And I was looking at BioSteel. I actually do a little bit of research before we get on here, and well, they're priced pretty high. Now that I think about it, might have been Canadian, but it's like $25 a 12-pack.
Yeah, that's so they can pay Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that too. A lot of sports celebrities, that especially in hockey. The other thing that I wanted to say is that I'm pretty sure that Coke is going to buy Constellation.
With this Sands voting shares
Yes,
dilution.
there's my prediction. I know it's only November. We have another month before we can even start putting these down. But I think Coke will buy Constellation, and that's why they changed their voting structure. Harry said it. Mark it down. Jordan, put that on them. Put it in the books. It doesn't sound like you're buying it.
Well, no, I think, I mean, it sounds like Constellation is in play, just from the rumors of the monster deal. So what was making me laugh was what that would do to Molson Coors and
it would just
all their momentum.
I mean, but why did Coke all of a sudden give Fanta, or what, not Fanta, what
Fresca
to Constellation?
Fanta's another idea.
I mean, after they have two brands with one brewer, let's make it real complicated and go with someone else. Either they're testing waters, seeing how they play with everybody, or
when they first announced the Fresca deal, I thought it was because Constellation had spirits capabilities, but now they're doing spirits with Molson Coors, and so that kind of shoots down that whole entire idea. So I'm not sure.
I think everybody has every capability now.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. A year ago, maybe not, or 2 years ago. The Sands changing this voting stock, I get it that it's a drag on the stock, but I don't think that's the reason. Well, and they got $1 billion out of it, so I guess that's a good motivation.
Must be nice, man. Like,
no, Jen, it's not. $1 billion, that's a good reason, but I think there's something else going on.
Yeah, it's not out of the question. And for the record, since I don't want it to be looking like I'm bad-mouthing Constellation here. I love me some Constellation.
You didn't love Constellation the last time we had beers with Bruce Jacobson.
Yeah, you didn't love Constellation. You were the one fighting tooth and nail with them. Bruce and I were over here just like drinking our beers, like trying to be diplomatic.
And that was with Paul Hederick, bless his soul. But yeah.
After you went to bat for distributors when they started consolidating.
Yes, that was right at this time, because it was at Ben's meeting in New York.
In like, what, 2018 or something like that?
Like 4 years ago. That sounds about right. Do y'all want to take a gander on what I'm leaning to for our new logo?
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Can you see it right there?
Well, that's so meta. I'm looking at a camera with me on it.
It's right there.
The blue?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. What is the screen?
Oh, it's just a second screen that
you flipped?
I flipped it, yeah.
Okay.
Vertically. I don't really have enough room to have two horizontal screens. So I just, flipped it to, I use it as a reading screen. Like I can put a PDF over there and read it while I'm working on my real screen.
What does the text after Beer Business Daily say?
It says industry intelligence delivered daily.
Oh, nice.
In other words, driving the news through the hole.
Right. I mean, we spent 6 months coming up with this slogan. Like, you think you could spend 5 minutes and come up with that, but that's the reason why we go through the exercise. The simplest is always the best.
But where's the part about the dongles, Harry?
That's coming later, Jen. We're still respect the process, okay? And then we have
Dongles Daily.
Dongles Daily. Biscuit is already at the pound. Well, never mind.
Wait.
She's at the boarding, even though I'm not leaving for New York for another 2 days.
Oh my gosh, poor Biscuit.
I know. She's happier there. It was time.
Oh.
Well, this whole house just reeks of dog urine, and my housekeeper's coming today, so I had to get her out.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, listen, I'm going to New York. I will be representing you. I'll also be covering the event. So better have some backup content.
Harry, I heard this, but I'm deaf. I also be covering the event.
Yeah, I'll be there and I'll be covering it.
I'll, but
Yeah.
I also, like Bella would say, I also covered the event.
I also.
I think you white.
Yeah.
I think you're white.
I think you white. You white. She said that just last night. It was so cute.
Oh boy, should we all tell a story? Jordan, what did Lenny do last night that was adorable?
She's starting to stand.
Oh,
She's crawling all over the place now. And now she'll reach for stuff and she can prop herself up and stick her little butt out and stand up for like 10 seconds and then fall down.
Oh, that's cute.
It's very cute.
Well, she'll be walking here soon enough.
I know.
And then you won't be able just to set her down. You'll have to be chasing after her.
Well, even with the crawling, I mean, it's like she just goes immediately towards outlets, you know?
Right.
That's like the first thing she wants to crawl to every time you sit her down.
Just like her dad, just getting into just trouble, getting into trouble.
so cute.
So, all right. Well, all right, guys.
You
I'd
didn't
love
have a
to
cute
sit here.
story about your kids you wanted to share, Harry?
I mean, my cute story is that Millicent has a daughter named Ella who I'm very tight with, and she's the only little girl because I have 3 older sons who are grown, and she is so much sweeter than my sons ever were. And now I'm just starting to think, oh, they're just boys. No, I think they're just assholes. Yeah, I mean, she's so sweet and nice, and I'm like, what happened to my sons? And I hope they're not listening.
They're not.
I know. All right. Well, have a good weekend. And yeah, I'll just come on. Are you going to set it up for Bruce tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll redo the invite. And I'll try to come on, but if I can't, then I know you guys have it. I'll shoot you the questions that I had. Well, I shot them to Jordan already.
Yeah.
Okay. Bruce and I go way back.
Yeah.
Well,
I love Bruce. He's awesome.
Yeah. Good guy. All right. Take care.
All right.
All right. See ya.